Premier League clubs have voted as to whether clubs with the same owners should be allowed to loan players back and forth with an unexpected outcome. So we'll talk about that in this video and how it may affect Newcastle United this upcoming January window. And it's not just loans. Newcastle are being linked with a host of players already. So we'll touch on a few of those in this video. But more importantly, we have some injury news as well. We are back in action against Chelsea this weekend. Kieran Trippier was spotted training with Newcastle today, which is great news. And we are hoping to see a few more players back as well. And it is reported that Newcastle United are to become one of Adidas's elite clubs. What that means, we will talk about it in this video. Welcome back to Toon Tuesdays, your weekly roundup of Newcastle United news, a series that I've been doing for a fair few years now, where we go through all of the week's roundup. And I have to say, international break, I'm glad it's over. Possibly one of the worst performances I saw last night for England, so I'm very happy to be looking forward to seeing Newcastle in action this Saturday against Chelsea. And if you don't want to miss that video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. In fact, I know loads of you guys watch Toon Tuesdays every week, but still have not subscribed to the channel. It helps boost the channel in the recommendeds. It means you guys don't miss any future videos, and we are really close to 45,000 subscribers. So if you could help me hit that number, I would absolutely love it. So please, please do. As I say, plenty to get through in this video. Let's start off with some of the injury news. Kieran Trippier played the first game out for England and then returned home. It was understood this was for personal issues, which we don't exactly know what that was, but the important thing is he was back, and hopefully everything's all okay with him, I should say that. But he was back in training for Newcastle, and he is set to be available for the game against Chelsea. The list outside of that does go on and on and on, but it's thought that Fabian Schär should be back playing for Newcastle this Saturday, which is good news. One of the big ones, I think the big two that are being spoken about right now is Botman. It's understood that he is getting closer and closer to return. Whether it will be this Saturday, I'm not quite sure. They're waiting to see whether he needs surgery. If not, he could be back sooner. If he does, it may be a little bit longer. But the main man, Mr. Isak, looks set to return very, very soon. And I think that's a pretty big one for us. I have to say, I think Wilson and Isak, when they are fit, they are the dynamic duo of sorts, because they don't actually really play it together, do they? They are rotated between one another, and I think it works really, really well. Newcastle only really play with one striker, and for them to kind of have that duo of bringing, slightly different play styles to our Newcastle side, but generally speaking are both very good in their own right and can score goals. As soon as one of them's injured, and this is the trouble, is that if you overplay one of them, they're picking up an injury as well. So, do we need another striker? Do we need to look at this January window in that department? Well, if the rumours are to be true, Newcastle are looking in that department, and you'll never guess who we're being linked with. That's right, Hugo Ekitike, that player that we were linked with some time ago and understood that he decided to go to, well, he did. He went to PSG. He didn't come to Newcastle. It would seem that PSG are prepared to let him go this January, and Newcastle on a loan could well be an option. You can let me know your thoughts on that one down below. I actually saw someone comment, I think on Facebook or somewhere, other platforms are available, saying that he doesn't think we need a new striker, that Wilson and Isak are spot on, and that Gordon is a backup is perfectly fine. And you know what it is? If they were all fit, I would totally agree. I think Gordon as a backup third striker is what we need. To have three strikers when you only have one position for them, we only play with one striker. I have three fully fit strikers and try to give them all game time, I think is a lot. The trouble is that when both Isak and Wilson are interchanging, spot on. They're both fully fit. They're both there. I think Wilson plays better football when he plays less football because he's not being overworked. But as soon as Isak's unfit, Wilson can't play all those games. And unfortunately, it would seem that when Wilson's fit, Isak's struggling to do the same. Now, bear in mind, I think it's not just Newcastle, it's the whole Premier League has got like double the amount of injuries that were last season. So I think someone needs to be looking at that. I saw somebody blaming it on VAR. You know, is it because there's that much added time, players are having to play longer? Or is that just someone trying to blame VAR for something else, which is possibly true as well? But Ekitike, if it's on, I think loan is the key word here. Loan. Bring anybody in on loan. Get everybody on loan. Look at them for 3 months. 6 months, 4 months, and we'll see what we think, and we can decide again in the summer. So I don't think it's a bad shout. The big player that we've been linked with for a fair amount and is Ruben Neves. Now, a big part of that, and we'll come on to this in the video now, is that the vote has been cast by Premier League clubs as to whether teams with the same ownership should be allowed to loan players back and forward. Now, this was brought out of nowhere. No one's ever moaned about this ever before, but all of a sudden Newcastle are linked with Ruben Neves. We better have a vote to try and stop them. Well, it didn't go through. Only 13 out of the 20 Premier League clubs voted for that ban to come in, and they need 14. It needs to be a full majority vote. It needs to be 14 votes for it to happen. It was only 13. So Newcastle can loan whoever they like from clubs owned through the PIF. So that's like the joint ownership. That's why it's happening. And guess what else is reported today? That Newcastle have no interest in loaning Ruben Neves. Yeah, you can't make it up sometimes. I honestly think Dan Ashworth, when he did his interview and spoke about, oh yeah, we might go into some of the Saudi leagues and look at players. Do you really think Dan Ashworth is going to go in there and tell everybody out about it? I partly feel like Newcastle's just played the biggest prank on the Premier League going, oh yeah, we're probably going to go to Saudi and buy whoever we want. Everyone's gone, they're not allowed to do that. Let's have a vote on it. The vote didn't pass, and it turns out Newcastle aren't bothered, and Ruben Neves doesn't want to move anyway. So, yeah. There you go. All of that seemingly for nothing. But just because that one seems to have gone cold doesn't mean that that's for every player in all that league. And if anything, I would say that if Newcastle were going to be cautious as to whether we should, the spotlight's on us already. Shall we dip into that league? Shall we not? What could we do? What can we not do? Well, hang on. They've had a vote. And they've just basically given Newcastle the biggest green light ever to just go, yeah, PIF, Murdad, whoever, Mandy, get them on the phone. Let's get in there. Let's see who is available, and let's actually just do whatever we want. So I would not be surprised if, look, we've got sent Maxi over there. Maxi fancy 4-month loan the other way, maybe. There's plenty of players over there and plenty of options that Newcastle could maybe, now that it's been fully agreed, actually, let's just take it for all it's worth and let's just go over there and do whatever we want. So we will wait and hear a little bit more on that. But in terms of injuries, a few players looking to come back is good. And yeah, Newcastle are appearingly getting some options available for the January window. Now then, in terms of, I guess, off the pitch, or in terms of club shirts, sponsors, it wasn't a great secret anyway when they accidentally leaked on the Amazon documentary 3 weeks early that Newcastle would be sponsored by Adidas. Well, there's a little bit more to it, as reported from today. It's said that Newcastle ought to become an elite Adidas club alongside the likes of Manchester United, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Juventus. Newcastle are being grouped in there as an elite club. And what exactly does that mean? Well, with Castore, we've seen it over the years, is a lot of template kits that look very similar, not a lot of difference. Tops that are kind of coming out in the same way that a lot of the kits are. You kind of see it. You can see it kind of with what Puma do. Puma were releasing basically the exact same kit for everyone, but with a different badge on. What's understood is Newcastle now being part of this elite Adidas club, is that we will receive bespoke kits made specifically for Newcastle United. You'd hope that Adidas would be doing that anyway. So how big the news is, I'm not exactly sure, but it would seem that it is being really pushed that Newcastle will have, you know, hopefully some of the nicest kits we're going to have in a little while. There's actually a YouTube video that I will shout out, done by the Kit Breakdown. It's actually got a designer called Craig in it. He is a Geordie. It's actually a full 1 hour, pretty much a documentary on his hopes to what Newcastle could do with their Adidas kits this season. He actually goes around and speaks to a few ex-players. He speaks to Stevie Watson. He speaks to Lee Clark. And actually designs a new home, away and third kit, which some of the designs are just insane. The home kit reminds me a little bit of the kit that we got promoted with Andy Carroll, so that's not my favourite. The third kit, that yellow kit that is doing the rounds on social media at the moment, I think looks tremendous. What they've actually done is they've mixed it up as well. It's not just the same Newcastle badge. They've actually switched a few different crests around, so a different crest, the standard for the home kit, a different for the away kit, a different for the third kit, which I really like the idea of it. As I say, not being templated, not being even templated across the home, away and third kit, really mixing it up across the board. And I don't think it'll just be the 3 kits. You see what Arsenal do. Arsenal have about 7... Newcastle are doing it right now, to be fair. Even with Cousteau bringing out so many different tops right now. I mean, we had about 7 kits last season. I think when Adidas come out, we're going to have so many different training kit options. And I am very excited for it, because I think they do look really good. People are saying that, you know, let's hope Craig from the documentary gets the job himself from Adidas, because they look so good. But the reports are coming out on this new elite club, and this video was actually made a few weeks ago now, but it's really hyped it up a little bit in the last 24 hours. So fingers crossed, not only will we get some great kits, but yeah, this Adidas deal will bring in a few pounds as well, ready for what is no doubt going to be a very busy January window. And Adidas know it's going to be a lucrative deal for them the other way as well. Newcastle, it's no secret, Newcastle fans are dying to see the Adidas strips back on, the Adidas badge back on the front, the Bespoke kits, the Grandad collar, the Ginola kits, you know, rewinding the clock a little bit, but a new kit with an almost little bit of a rewind, but a bit of a fresh start is for me. I think there's so much has changed for Newcastle. The one thing that hasn't changed yet is the kits. I just think when the Adidas kits come out, it will just feel like that new era is almost kind of like solidified. So let me know your thoughts on some of the kits that have been thrown up and down on the screen as I've gone through this video. Be sure to go and check out the video, as I say, by the Kit Breakdown. I will put the link down below. I really enjoyed it, and it seems, as I say, that some of those kits are going a little bit wild now. So if you think that some of those kits would be right for us at the start of next season, you let me know down below. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, enjoy your week. Looking forward to the weekend. Plenty of videos coming up. Full preview for Chelsea. The videos on Saturday. Pre-match, post-match, vlog. And hopefully we can get a win despite the injuries. That's just the way it feels at the minute. I think we're doing all right. We're playing some... Bournemouth weren't great, okay. But I think we're okay. It's just we need to see some of those players come back quick or get us in that January window fast. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.